I start this, J Mike? When did I start that? Like, I don't know. Shoot, like, oh, damn it! I didn't tag the open ball. Yeah, you hate when you do that when you're just out of style about
so many
2
things
months.
to consider.
I don't even know. I don't know what the last episode was of this stupid podcast. What is this? What are we doing here? I don't even. They made me log in again. They got fancy features. Now you can remove this cute little banner, and then our faces all get bigger. And then I can put the banner back, and it kind of zooms us out, a little perspective. Shout out to StreamYard real quick. What it do? Hey guys, great work. And ladies, I'm sure you got some lady coders in there. Keep coding, keep coding, keep growing. We are StreamYard, not beneficiaries, that's for sure. But we stands indeed. God, J Mike, yay, yeah, J Mike.
We back.
I can't hold it in.
Back.
I can't. I'm not going to hold it in.
Just do it. Whatever you want to say. Just do it right now. Just say it.
Da 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 da. Yeah. This is the opening bar.
Hey. Look at us.
Hey.
Look at us.
I didn't expect this. Not me. Nope.
Me either. Not me.
It feels so good to be back.
Yeah, it's absurd. And obviously everybody, welcome in. We're excited to be here with you. Thanks for rocking with us. The folks live, the folks via podcast. We know we haven't seen you since approximately Thanksgiving break of 2019, before we got our vision together, 2020 vision. But here we are. We're back and feeling great, and with several friends that you all know and love here in the open bar. Gabe, I can't tell you how excited I am to be with you. I can't tell you how excited I am to jump back into the saddle and to enjoy these last few weeks of the playoffs that we have before everything heats up with draft season. And oh man, it's on, and it's been refreshing to be away for a little bit, but here we are, and I could not be more excited.
Dude, we're already selling 2020 first for 2021 first. It's over. I mean, we don't even care about these guys anymore. We've been so excited for years, it seems. And now we're like, yep, next up.
Yeah. I mean, but seriously though, 2021 receiver class. No.
I know. Yeah, but really, this is why we're here. The first episode of 2020 is dedicated to the 2021 draft class. No, it's not. It's dedicated to y'all, the fans. Yep. Okay. This is the last episode that J Mike and I are going to do. All right. I'm sorry. This is it here. I'm glad that we could get you in for tonight, for our very last episode. I'm just waiting for a comment to come through and say, really? No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Okay. Start off 2020 with a little bang. All right. We've got guests. It's same old. We're going to be 52 weeks in a row. There's no stopping us. There's no way we'll take a week off, a day off. This is all us, all J Mike, all genius, Bun G, what it do. Guests are here. They're vets. We had to come in with 2020 with some people that we knew already. We couldn't bring in the rooks. Okay. Sorry. We'll have y'all later when we have nothing to talk about, in the middle of February or something. So we had to bring the vets on. Where do I even begin? Let's start with Tran, my man. Jason, boy. How are you, my friend? So good to see you.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back. It's been, I think, almost a year, maybe.
Is it? We need to start a journal of sorts, I think, a diary, or maybe you could, because you did mention in the chat that you are kind of one of the OGs for making the show sheets.
Yeah. Keep a journal of how often I'm on here?
No, just everyone.
Just who's on? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
And by episode number 2.
Right.
This needs to be organized. I heard the EP has and podcasting and dynasty leagues, but not really. I mean, I still see him around. So someone's got to step in and do something. Okay. Are you doing things or are you not?
Right. I didn't know I was getting hired today.
Look, every open bar episode is an interview.
You've been the author of the hashtag 3 words show sheet since I mean that goes back to RIP Gut Feels. That's your namesake. How dare you come in to a place that you know is home and operate in such a way that you don't even know your role. I know. Flabbergasted. I'm disgusted.
I'm embarrassed that I don't even already have this. It feels like something I should have known. I should have been keeping track of the whole time.
I know. All right.
Let me get on it.
Yeah, you work on that while I go and introduce the next, co-host, interviewee, if you will, Casey Kasem, the VP, First Lady. See, I'm forgetting all the titles.
First Lady,
Mike. Like it
First
is.
Lady,
I know it has been. It's been incredibly
you're
long since I. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Right.
Casey Kasem, the First Lady of the Open Bar. Welcome.
Welcome, gentleman and other gentlemen. Hi.
Hi.
What's
Happy
new?
Yeah.
Thank you. So much going on.
I like the setup you've got. It's almost like it's a podcast setup.
Yeah, so I'm not at my old house. I'm at my new house. So I get my own area away from my wife and the dogs and everything to do whatever the hell I want. So here I am.
You go, girl. You go.
Gotta take control. Put my foot down.
Yep, this is what we've been waiting for. Waiting for Casey Kasem to take control.
Oh, and I promised Zach I would take a shot. So
Hey,
vodka. And sorry if you're listening to this and not watching it. It's good.
Speaking of, if you're here with us on YouTube or Periscope, first of all, thank you. You don't have to be. You could be here the next day, but you're kind of dweebish if you're not here with us live. Still appreciate you, but just, appreciate you at the same level. I don't know. I got nothing on that. It's all appreciated. We do have some people in that chat already, J Mike. We're going to get to them in just a mo, but Foist, the trefoil man himself, we already started talking about Girls Clout Cookies, man. The anniversary, 1 year anniversary of it, just about, I think. Pete, how are you, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Dude.
What in the world?
What?
You're going to keep inviting me on. I'm going to keep being bad at this, man. No, I'm happy to be here. Happy to see there's a lot more hate on the open bar than there used to be. You're going at Tran already. I look forward to seeing what you throw my way.
Are we getting spicier?
It's about time J Mike's natural hatred of people started coming on the open bar a little bit more.
How you get choked up? How does somebody get choked up being introduced on a podcast? Like how? Yeah. What's the mechanism of which that happens? Are you starting to actually care about things, Peter?
Choked up. Wow. No, just bad at it. I keep pointing that out. You keep expecting something different. I just keep laying on the bad, and that's what I do, man. What do you need from me here?
Unbelievable.
Let's see how bad you can be tonight, then. Getting off to a great start. I'll tell you what. J Mike, I'll pass it to you. Oh, what? No, Peter. Feel free to jump in about how bad you are.
No, I was just going to say I'm really happy to be on the first episode of the Uni after you took literally the first week of the year off and then came back saying you never take a week off. I thought that was just like ultra troll, and I really appreciated that as well. Like you guys just rocking it.
We have not taken literally a Tuesday off.
The first week off. You took.
This is the first Tuesday of the year.
You literally took
that was January 30. That was December 31st.
Yeah. December 31st, pal.
Oh, so you do take some Tuesdays off. Got it. No, like I say, I just
Listen,
I really thought that was
we
just
took
like a
off
rock
several,
star
didn't
move. Like, take the day off, come back, and say we never take days off, and just not acknowledge it. Like, I thought that was pretty rock star.
Well, let's just leave you thinking that because we certainly are
Now he's just
rock stars.
disappointed.
Yeah, I know. Okay, J Mike, you do your thing with the chat. I don't care. Whatever.
Chatty chat. Man, again on Periscope as well as YouTube. A bunch of our friends are here to welcome us back into 2020. Zach was the first one in the room. Tacitassassin 13 on Twitter. Big brother from the Dynasty Dummies is in the building. Larry Monkey. Larry Monkey's in the building with us as well. AB's back in the building. Our resident Maine. We've got to check in on AB. AB, you had a big year 2019. Things were great. You moved. Life was good for you and your family. And then you walk into 2020 and the Patriots. Oh man. Anywho, I'm not gonna go there with you. That's not right. People's Champ is here as well as in the Periscope. Switching it up on us, Big Bill McCarthy. So good to see you as well. But we've got questions already in the chat, so we might as well just go there first. I feel very out of practice with this, but we'll give it a shot. Larry Monkey, do you want me to put the graphic up? Am I okay to do up? He's on it.
That one?
Yeah, that one. That's it. So this is what we're looking at. Talking about these picks already. These picks cooking up in value. 16 teams, Superflex, PPR, 11 starters. He's got DK. The offer is 109, 112, and a late 2021 second for Decalin, Aquarius, Gemini, Scorpio, Metcalf.
Indeed.
I didn't realize.
Met Cow, I think at this point. I think we've all agreed that he has leveled up. We're done with the calf, and we can now call him a cow. Met Cow.
Mad cow.
Is it
Mad cow.
Mad Cow. Is a calf? Is that just any childlike cow, or is that like a male female calf? Anyone know that?
I did not know the answer.
I guess we can get back to the
Where is
trade
our
then.
zookeeper?
We were 1x. I know, yeah, 1x away from making this a real dirty question there, Monkey. 109, 112, a late 2021 second, or DK. I mean, don't you just think he's gonna be the Super Bowl MVP by now, and you'll get more than this? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I don't think this will be a time that I'd be selling DK, especially after what we just saw. But that's still, I don't think that's enough for me anyway. I think him and AJ Brown are just two guys that are just skyrocketing up there, and I feel like you could get more than that for DK right now.
Yeah.
Just keep going back and forth until you get exactly what you want. That's what I learned this year.
Yeah. We say if you feel one way long enough, you'll eventually be right.
Right.
Because everyone's going to catch up. Yeah. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this in the chat. The executive producer comes back to take his throne.
Oh wow,
The snake.
Anderson,
The snake is here.
the draft talker, the artist formerly known as NFL draft talker. We mentioned DK Metcalf, and he pops up in the chat out of nowhere. It's like Candyman. Don't say Candyman too many times in the mirror; it could get ugly real fast. Yeah, good to see you, Jake. Hope you're well, man. But isn't the arrow for DK, for AJ Brown, for Terry McLaurin, aren't all of their arrows literally like pointing straight up? Like
No.
Yep.
No.
Oh,
you don't think so? There's a cold water.
No, I have really loud concerns about still. And that's not just because I just saw you trade for him, by the way. That's like he came in as he'd have to be a pretty strong outlier to produce, and he really impressed me and everyone else in his first season. That's great, but he still remains a high risk, and where he dropped off towards the end of the year as well, and he's still on a bad team that's going to.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
None of that is pointing.
Where he
There's
is
the lift we're
not
looking
good.
at. No, that's not up. That's not upwards.
Not good.
DK, maybe the team's always going to be incredibly efficient with Russell Wilson there, but they remain, determined to completely ruin that guy's potential career. But he's still got a good upside there, and he showed they're going to use him the right way, how he can be used well. And he came in and had a great rookie season. And Terry McLaurin did too, but he had a lot more question marks on his profile coming in. He's on a much worse team. It's up from where he was. I'll say that. Like, I'm not trying to tank what the guy did in his first year, because that was great. But like, there are a lot of question marks around that up arrow you just put on him.
Okay. But in this particular
you can say a little bit that these guys have really probably surprised us.
Yes.
Some of them. I mean,
I don't think DK was
F1.
surprising. just to give props to
He
DK,
surprised
there are more
you.
than enough
Yes,
people saying he could do exactly
He surprised
that.
you, Peter.
No, he didn't
He
surprise
surprised
me.
you, Peter. Come on,
Okay.
Peter.
I have his top 3
Come
wide
on,
receiver.
Peter.
What do you want from me? Okay, you didn't have him number 1. Well, no, I didn't. And he didn't finish as the best rookie of that year. So but he didn't surprise me. Jake Moreland taught me enough through the concerns of him that I can't put him in the top 5. He could do it, especially Russell Wilson. He did. Terry McLaurin outright surprised me. That's a complete surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about Deontay
Surprised
Johnson?
me too.
Did really well. He's a really interesting player. Surprised? I'm more surprised team, and I was actually looking into Juju a little bit. Someone asked me to. And he had a really interesting season. Like, his yak was really far down, and also he only got 7 red zone targets. I was just looking at 8 last season. And I think that's where a lot of the production came. Deontay Johnson. It's always a surprise when a player that's playing behind someone we already know to be great, and draft capital came in. It's surprising in that manner, but he was productive in college when he played. He played a little later, but I mean, we suspected he could do something, right? He was a fairly hot name in that value range. So I don't know, I'd call that surprise, but it's definitely great what he did.
All right. I mean, everyone just did perfectly.
I'm just redefining words on your podcast.
Everybody did perfectly.
Kind of like what Peter said. We were just talking about how we were surprised that Juju didn't really produce like we kind of thought, but for Deontay Johnson to actually still produce is that's the surprising part, I think.
No question.
His yak sucked as well. By the way, I was just digging into this a little bit because someone asked me about it, and both of those guys, like their yards after catch yak, not their pet farm animal. Their yards after catch just like tanks after eight yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and I'm starting to think we can blame some of that on their Hall of Fame quarterback, maybe. But I normally don't go that route, but. It seems to be a commonality with the team, and also they sent like most of their red zone targets to like Vance McDonald. Always a great idea. Good game planning there.
Well, why?
Why would you really send it to anyone else? And also like Jalen Samuels got like 20 touches and targets. It's like I think it was mismanagement on game planning and play calls across the board there in the red zone. But that's just me. I'm not an NFL coach, so what would I know? I can just go, guys. If you
Here's what I want everybody to do.
Fine.
I want you to go tomorrow up to a random stranger and tell them that their yak sucks. See what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Just see what happens.
One of the things I do
since I live in farm country in the middle of Kentucky, that probably go very bad. The yak sucks. Better than your yak.
So just coming back to the trade for a second, just before we go somewhere else completely, because I feel like I like where that's going to. With one of the things I find interesting though is already if we're choosing DK as the side here, or whomever, whatever the choice is, what I find interesting is this inflection point where we've been thinking that these picks are going to be filled with so much goodness at the end of the rainbow, and already we're seeing that 2 firsts and another pick outside of that. In this particular instance, we're not saying is enough for DK Metcalf, which I find interesting, just because of what we know or what we've been told and what we've been hearing for a while, specifically for this draft and specifically with picks, just the value of them. So I find this very, very fascinating already.
But and I also think that the draft has taken a hit already too. You know, we were talking about 2021 guys, like that. It's certainly getting better, and 2020 is going to be fine. You know, but by the end of the playoffs and whatever, I don't know if they've done January ADP yet, but I'm sure that DK is going to be top 40, 30 type of guy, like just crazy. And I mean, that's like the equivalent of, you know, your 101 or 102 probably. So that's where he's sitting in terms of value. So I don't think, especially in a 16 team league, a 109 and a 111 and whatever, a 2021 for second and a 16 team, like whatever. And so, I mean, and what did he say? Super flex too. So I guess there is that. I'll, you know, bend a little bit on that, but certainly not 101, 109 and 111 for the 101 is in terms of value, if you're trying to put it in the scope of picks.
Yeah. Okay.
Or 112, excuse me.
I can get behind it. I just find it interesting because people have fought tooth and nail over these picks, and we're already seeing that. And maybe that just speaks more to the value bump or value jump in DK Metcalf. Either way, I find it fascinating. Now, one of the things that you mentioned, Peter, you said, "Hey, DK was not even the top of the rookie receivers." Well, as I mentioned you the other day in my research here, in my deep seated hours of studying this wide receiver.
I can feel the tension, headache starting.
What a jerk.
Go on.
So I'm just curious. I'm curious because and you tell me, and this is through week 17. Again, this is my half-baked research that I'm putting together, doing my best you impression, Peter. Can you tell me there are 2 rookie wide receivers who led rookies with 9 top 36 weeks this year in PPR. There's 2 rookies that had 9, 2 rookies had 8. Can you name the 2 rookies that had 9 top 36 weeks? And this is through week 17. So for everybody who wants to fight me for my statistics that went all the way through week 17, because nobody plays week 17 championships, get over it.
No one likes
get over 17. It. I did week 17. Yeah, people will fight you over some week. Like, I get it. I don't play any leagues that way either, but that's where my research took me, so I'm just doing it. So,
week 17.
Can you name the 2 rookie wide receivers?
Probably not, actually. I did see you post that thread, and I just stayed away from it. I figured I'd just bring the tone down. I'm a bit of a wet blanket, as you know, and it looked like fun, so I was like, I better not get involved in that. Off the top of my head, I guess AJ Brown.
There's 2 of them. You have to name 2. Give me 2 guesses.
I thought you said DK Metcalf was in there, though. There were 2 others.
Okay, spoiler alert. DK's one of the ones with 9 top 36 weeks.
Right.
Who's the other? Who's the other one with 9?
Okay.
Your guess is AJ.
Where does this ceiling stop? We started with 1. Now we're on 2. Now you want 3. Are we going to go to 4 after that? Three's a hard ceiling.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just being difficult. Honestly, I don't know. No idea. McClellan, maybe?
I have a wild guess at this, and I think it's Slayton.
Okay. Casey, what do you think?
I don't think we got to 9.
Do you know how many years I've been playing Dynasty? I don't fucking know.
All you have to know is this year. This is the
I know. You think I paid attention this year? Let me think.
You've been too busy.
I would like to retract
I've been
my
getting married.
Yeah.
I'm
moving.
Getting a puppy. I got too much shit on my plate. I don't care about shit about the rookies.
You've been hanging out with Peter way too much. Too much wet blanket right here.
I would like to retract my answer and just say what she said. Could I just that one? I fucking know, J Mike. What do you want from me?
Yes. Yes.
You tell me what the answer is, because
Gabe, I'll give you one shot.
Is it my boy?
I don't know who your boy is.
Hollywood me Cole.
I feel like I really have to dissect this.
Oh gosh, no, it's Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yes. So just a quick rundown here. DK and Debo had 9 top 36 weeks.
Ooh.
AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin each had 8 top 36 weeks. And Hollywood me Cole had tied as well with 6 top 36 weeks. And speaking of Deontay Johnson, had the same number of top 36 weeks as Juju Smith-Schuster with 5.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
How about that?
That's what I was,
R.I.P.
that's what I was saying. Like,
R.I.P.
Just pouring one out for him.
I just said rest in Pittsburgh. It's okay.
He dead now, so
He dead now.
He did. He gone.
it's a shame. So young.
All right. I just, you know what? The best part of this is just how much you all appreciated the work that I put in, charting all that. So thank you guys for just appreciating and really being down for me putting my 2020 vision forward to do more research. And
I appreciate it.
it was
Because
awesome.
Proud of you.
I don't know
Really proud of
shit.
you, Jim.
So I like to know shit.
Hey, look at us.
Hey,
Look at us.
I didn't see it.
If I can just go back to the trade for a minute, not to put us back on the rails, because I never enjoy it more than when we're off the rails. But I would say just generically, don't sell players for picks, especially players that have proven a little more in the NFL. Because essentially what you're doing is saying, hey, I know I've got this guy who's done well in the NFL, but I might get that guy who does well in the NFL next year. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
At all.
I'm
So
going to bet on my process.
I'm going to take this pick so that I might get this guy again.
Well, this is what I want to
just
know.
keep the guy.
As somebody who's only played Dynasty for 2 years and who's been fleeced more than 12 times, let's say, when it comes to picks, the people with the mindset of I'm going to get the picks and I'm going to trade those picks to get somebody who I think is also, a strong player or whatever, right? Is that a good mindset to have, or should you just fucking also be like, whoa, huh? I mean, right now at this time period, right while the playoffs are going on and everything else.
right. So kind of like what Peter mentioned, it's with this trade in particular, you're hoping one, not only do you get a guy who is as good as DK Metcalf, but then you're also using one of those other picks to get someone who can also be productive with. It's just like, it's already, I've already seen threads about it, but it's already sort of a gamble, draft picks anyway. You know? So you're gambling twice here. It's like, I don't know.
I don't like, I mean, me personally, I've had a lot of that kind of stuff going on lately with trade talks. And I'm like, I don't know, this guy too much to give up that. So that's why I was asking. I'm still learning. So,
Yep.
and I'm in leagues with you guys. So maybe,
AKs.
I'm just going to play dumb for the rest of my life and see where it gets me.
Trust your process. Come get these picks. You'll select really good players. Just come and
But
get
I
my
won't.
picks.
But
No,
I
you're
won't.
really good. You're
Oh,
good.
yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hashtag humble brag.
And actually, if I can just bring something up here, I just saw something on Twitter right before we started. It was a Twitter poll of OBJ versus the 2020 101. And the 101 is just smashing right now. Like, it is 70% the 101. But, like, that can't be right?
Oh, it's right. I'm not sure you wouldn't have got that like a year ago. People have been insane on this class like for 3 years now. And,
Yes.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have gotten that last off season, to be honest. If you knew you had the 101 last off season, that is.
Right. I agree.
And yes, it is crazy. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
crazy. Especially since now we're getting people really starting to hedge. Like, hey, I know I literally told you to trade your kidneys for second round picks, but yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Like, no backbone when it gets close, you know. But no, we are starting to get people saying, "Oh man, I thought this guy was going to declare," and that's going to keep happening. Like it happened last year, and there wasn't nearly as much fallout as we expected. But there was some, like Tyler Johnson went back to school. He's back coming out this year, maybe again, probably, to be fair. But I mean, that hasn't even fallen out yet, let alone the guys who are going to go to the combine like Harmon and run like a 7.4 40 or whatever it was. And everyone's going to be like, oh no, you know all that hype I get? No, that was just like, it was a maybe. And the backpedaling's going to begin. And clearly it's going to be a good class. This many people don't say this many positive things, but like, it's got to be less than what they've been saying. It just has to be, because like the best draft classes we've ever seen, we've got like one serious dynasty player out of, so maybe we'll get two, and you're looking at like pick 109 and offering OBJ for it. It's like it's got to be less than that, or maybe not. You know, I drafted N'Keal Harry. What do I know?
The thrill of hope. The thrill of hope.
Yeah. What did he do this year, Peter?
Hey, man! If you want 2 receptions for 20 yards, I got the guy for you.
Yeah.
Come on, man. He is the world leader in 2 receptions, 20-yard games, man. It's awesome. Going all the way.
For what it's worth, I'm still with you, Peter.
Me too. Since I am me and I can't get away from me. But I am also reeling from the Corey Davis is bad now take. So, you know, I'm in damage control over here in the Howdy Crisis Center. There's a direct line for the suicide line. Let's just put it that way.
No, man. Devontae Parker saved us all. We're fine. We can believe in whoever the hell we want to now.
Yeah, right. It's been rough for wide receivers, actually, in general. I just listened to most famous, really, JJ Zacharyason's late round pod, and he was digging into it a little more, and it feels some of the questions I had, like wide receiver 2s were catching most of the touchdowns, for example, which is a really interesting trend he noted. And like I was just saying about Deontay Johnson out targeting Juju Smith-Schuster in the red zone, like it was a bit of an outlier year, but there's also a trend that Zach Reed from the Dynasty Dummies in the chat pointed out the beginnings of, like, he had me dig into it a little bit, I think 2 off seasons ago, about ADP and who's getting targets in the slot a little bit more. The wide receiver usage is changing a little bit, and that's some of what we saw. I think we also saw a lot of variance this year with touchdowns and stuff, though.
I see.
Variance is nerd talk for probably won't happen again. Hopefully, by God, hopefully it won't happen again.
According to my hours and hours of research as well, OBJ 10 top 36 weeks. Just throwing that out there.
Trash.
Well, why would you want that? You could just have the rookie with the 101.
Who wants a top 36 week, J-Mike? That's really arbitrary cutoff line.
Only 10? What? My rookie 101 can have at least 11.
How many top
Just
35, J-Mike?
For context,
could have had Michael
context,
Thomas.
that is,
I'm just saying, could have had Michael Thomas.
For context, that is tied for 4th best amongst receivers. Just saying.
Oh wow, there were people better than him. Oh, I could get that guy with the 101.
Wasn't it something like
you might,
maybe
you might.
Wasn't Christian McCaffrey like the wide receiver 10 or so if you took away all his rushing and just left his receptions and touchdowns?
I'm starting to
Something
wonder.
like
he was really high up there. I
That
forget.
actually seems low.
oh my god,
I'm starting to wonder.
Swiss Army knife.
I'm starting to wonder if I was even like at all kind of figuring it out this year or kind of good at fantasy football, or if I just had Christian McCaffrey on my team. Like I really started looking at my teams like, yep, that team had Cap that.
Had Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin
correlation
Cook,
there.
and really nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
That and Lamar Jackson, and you were good.
Yeah, that's who won my
Easy.
fucking home league. Lamar Jackson.
I know
Christian
that team.
McCaffrey.
Yeah, they are.
I'm sure there's a shit ton of those guys out there, but you know,
I think that's the team that
You're not
won
bitter at all.
I'm not bitter. Fuck.
and in the chat there, this is fun too. So obviously in the chat talking about the draft picks and just the whole process of this running back landscape and how one of the things that I don't that people don't aren't taking into account. And I can't remember if it was Zach or Jake that said it. Both of them say really smart things, basically 99.9% of the time. Oh yeah. So Jake said there's not that many RB landing spots out there.
That's a lie, Jake.
Zach says there's about 10 to 12 running backs for about 4 to 7 spots. Really 4 to 6 if you keep Rojo safe, because Rojo's the GOAT. But with that said, one of the things that interests people, at least for me, especially with all of the thinking and pondering and the discussions that I had with Peter on his podcast a month or so back, is just this idea of if I can get in on these running backs early, however I can get them, whenever I can get them, and watch the value explosion go, extract all the value that I can out of them in those first couple 2 to 3 years or so, and get out while the getting's good before the nonsense and the craziness happens with contracts and hopefully not awful injuries and all sorts of other craziness. So I think that's the thing that's enticing, is we're looking at a class where we're excited about a lot of these running backs. Like, we're excited about a lot of the running backs, and the hope, legitimately the thrill of hope that one of these guys or that several of these guys can help you flip your team, help you flip your if you're picking early, obviously you may have earned that dreaded 102, 103, 101. And they can be the key to something that you actually build around, which I think is intriguing for people. And that in itself has a value that I think is not necessarily quantifiable. The legitimately the thrill of hope. Like, I think that people thoroughly enjoy that.
And there's hope on both sides, though. I mean, we're stating that we're not looking at the landscape and that there's not many teams that need running backs. Well, that's just hope too, because I mean, any one of these running backs can literally get Trey Mason. I'm looking at these teams now. I could put 16 down that could draft a running back. I mean, you just don't know.
Right. And
poor Trey Mason, man.
And you're not only worried about the rookies, you're worried about the free agents too. Like, there's going to be plenty of free agents out there too that are going to be getting signed, and now there's even less spots for the rookies too.
Look, especially with running back, the most important information we're going to get about them is from the combine and from the draft. So everyone telling you there are great running backs in this class, probably true, and it doesn't matter until you at least know those two things. You have to know where they're going to go, and you have to know literally what their makeup is, and we're almost always wrong about their size, speed, and everything else before the combine comes. So to say we're as class, which again, literally everyone's been doing, is probably true, because this, the people evaluating them know what they're doing. But I mean, unless you think they're less than Dallas league generational play. Oh wait, then unless you. I don't get the saying right now that there are this many great running backs without knowing at least that information, not even their landing spot, just who's going to declare and how fast do they run. Just give me those two things before we say there are like more than 3 generational talents in a class. Like, let's calm down a bit. Or a lot.
Okay, fine. I'm going to take it back, man.
No.
Casey's like, bring it down.
I mean, it's like this is like, but at the same time, it's going to the ears, so we're good.
No, I think that this is just the beginning of what's going to be a crazy non-point scoring season. Shout out to Outhouse for that. One of the things I do want to pivot to, though, I know that Casey, I know you said you're extra busy. Peter, obviously, you've been grinding data like crazy as long as your computer doesn't shut down on you while you do it. Tran, you've been hitting WNBA parlays left and right. So just with the with the season coming to a close, championships won and lost. toilet bowls won, all those things. At this point, when you look back on the year, I'm just curious, what do you have? Not necessarily takeaways as it pertains to production, but just moves that you made that you feel like, man, I wish I could either have that back, or something that you learned from your time throughout the 2019 season, because I feel like there was a lot of lessons to be learned, perhaps. And I'm just curious what you may have grown from the season, or what you have gleaned, I should say, from the season.
Big thing for me is that running backs still matter, apparently, and it's not all about wide receivers. And it seems to keep going that way, but landing one of those top running backs was actually huge this year, especially with the cycle of wide receivers that were pulling off top weeks. Like, even though we kind of joked about OBJ being fourth highest at 10 weeks in the top 36, like, that seems low to me. Like, there should be more people on that list, but I think it was just locking down those running backs was kind of crazy this year.
And I learned that a certain somebody in one of my leagues has Josh Allen, and I have Sam Darnold, and we're not really sure how we feel about the value of those guys. If you're trying to trade, what's going on? I'm not going to name names, but his name rhymes with K-like. K-like, do these guys, are they the same? Are they different? Should we care? I don't know. And I also learned that I need to be in less effing leagues, so I am. The end.
I learned that every year.
When you're in dope leagues, cherish those. Hold those tight.
Stay in leagues with people that you are tight with, and then the leagues with people whose names you can't even remember. Don't feel bad about cutting ties. I didn't.
Peter, where's your scroll? I know you have a soapbox with a scroll that you're about to lay on me right here.
No, sorry, what were we talking about? I was thinking about.
Oh my
God. We're off the rails again, Peter.
We out here.
We out here.
It's my new thing. I like saying it. It has a good rhythm to it. No, what were we talking about? Seriously.
We were talking about what you learned this year.
Oh, what I learned this year? I was going to back up what you said, Jace, but add to it again. 2019 looks like a little bit of an outlier in terms of where some of the touchdowns went, but there is a pattern to changing wide receiver usage, and I want to dig into that a little bit. But it's not that it's not continuing to be running back heavy. I found myself giving more and more advice that sounds a lot more like running back heavy drafters over the last 12 months, because the high producers at wide receiver are becoming less and less. The best wide receivers outside of Michael Thomas weren't giving you a significant edge. And this is what JJ Zacharyson was saying, which leans you more towards running back naturally. It's not that the wide receiver position has changed or it's not as valuable for NFL football, but in terms of fantasy points, because there are so few wide receivers that give you an edge and it's harder and harder to pinpoint them, that leads you back towards running back. So it's not like zero RB was never true. It's starting to become less true, not particularly zero RB, as wide receiver scoring declines, as targets and touchdowns start to spread out more broadly on the position. And 2019 was probably the clearest indication that trend is becoming a trend and not just some random variance over the last couple of years. I do think 2019 hit us a little bit too hard. We got most of our stuff about players correctly. Juju Smith-Schuster being a noticeable exception. We didn't overly under rank or evaluate most players in our ranks, or projections, for example. It's just that the points weren't as high as it typically should be with that kind of projection. So it's not like wide receivers don't make a significant difference. It's just there's much fewer of them that can make a difference in fantasy, and that should lean you back as running back. So I'd say that trend that you were noting is definitely true. Also, the overvaluation of tight end was not only true, but you fell to a cacophonous draft the top three tight ends in the first few rounds was always a bad idea, and it proved true. Although I think I'm mostly Huckles, but still, it didn't work out.
I
Can we
think
get rid of
Kelsey
tight
and
ends
Kittle
yet?
held their own. I mean, Kelsey for the most part.
Yeah,
Kittle
they did
was
fine.
moved
That's
a
the
little bit,
thing.
but
They did good, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. We don't have. It's well, it's
wasn't
like the
elite.
extreme. It's like the extreme of the wide receiver trend we're seeing now. There are still Gronks and Grahams to translate it to tight end at the wide receiver position, but now it's almost as rare as Gronk and Graham were. And tight end, we just haven't had that since Gronk and Graham, so we should stop hoping that comes back soon. Maybe Kittle, to be fair. Kittle's got the profile to be one of those guys, but like you say, this year he just held his own.
Right.
So can we get rid of tight ends yet?
I can just go, guys. Seriously, every time I say
No,
something, there's like a
yeah.
deafening silence afterwards. It's like,
No, it's because we're taking it all in. And we're processing it. And we're learning to love it.
right.
Learning.
It's not because you're all looking at me like, what's in this guy's cigarette? Right
I've been drinking.
That's the way it feels.
Yeah, what's in the cigarette?
Tobacco.
So speaking of running back,
Speaking of running back.
there was a question a long time ago, J Mike, like 40 minutes ago, about Boston Scott. Does anyone enjoy him? Thoughts next year? Is he the guy?
Shout out to Chris Joel Smith. That's what it was. Like, it's too far back in the chat for me to grab it and post it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But Chris Joel Smith said that on Periscope.
Thank you for joining us here on the Open Bar. You can catch us live Tuesday 9:30 Eastern on YouTube or Periscope. Now, Boston Scott.
Boston Scott.
I'm hesitant on Boston Scott. I don't know. I think it's just like happened to be a situation this year. I think Miles Sanders is the guy, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like they're just gonna have a bell cow there. It just feels like it's just gonna be
They never do.
a huge mess.
He's fun to watch.
I mean,
he's got a little juice to him.
I was hoping he'd work
and
out in New Orleans when he was in New Orleans.
Yeah, I remember that one too. But I mean, we had the Eagles just do this. Doug Peterson just does this. You know, he does. Scott or Clement, like whatever he can get his hands on, and it seemed like he started to rely on Sanders a little bit. I still kind of believe it was the Jordan Howard thing, and now I'm not even really sure if it seems like there's still something with Jordan Howard that they're not revealing or something, but or will ever reveal. But I do believe that there's going to always be that some sort of committee approach with Peterson, and that is always kind of takes me aback with Sanders. And it's not, this isn't necessarily about Boston Scott, but just the fact that another running back's going to be involved in Philadelphia, whether it's Boston Scott or your next 6th, 7th undrafted round free agent, whatever, next year kind of guy.
Right. And to jump back in, the thing with it is, from a fantasy player's perspective, it sucks. But from like an NFL perspective, why wouldn't they do that? Like,
right.
Why wouldn't they just split it up like that? It doesn't make sense for them not to.
Yep.
I think that I'm so glad you brought us back to that, Gabe, because that's one of the things I don't want to be fooled by, because all off season we'd come on this show and I talk about the things that I was really excited to look at and check out in the preseason, and that was Miles Sanders, like the case of Miles Sanders. And okay, so not everyone, I need to stop doing that, because I really get annoyed when people say that everyone or nobody and everybody hates on him. Yeah. So I'll try to stop that in 2020 as well. Right. There have been people on Twitter.com who will say things like, well, all Doug Peterson needed was a bell cow. Now that he's got one, he'll be able to actually leverage him as such. And then we watched throughout the season, while Miles Sanders was slow on the on-ramp, if you will, we watched Jordan Howard play well, and we continue to watch the running back by committee be fully enforced in Philadelphia, right? And with that, I don't want to be fooled by Miles Sanders really awesome stretch when Jordan Howard went down, because I think at the heart of it all, Philadelphia still wants to do by committee. And I think that Boston Scott still did a really good job to probably be part of the committee in 2020. But like, would you be surprised if they brought in somebody else for them to have a, three players next year? Like if they brought in a, whatever free agent or later round guy or whatever, some cheap option to add to that? No, I'm not going to be surprised. So I think that it may be, and I like Miles Sanders. I don't want to poop on him, and I don't want to poop on people who like Miles Sanders.
No pooping.
But one of the things I don't want to be fooled by was what he did when Jordan Howard was out, and thinking that he's going to just vault into something that's absolutely amazing next season in terms of touches and opportunity and everything else, when Boston Scott will probably be around playing a role and somebody else will probably come into and take carries and work. So end of rant. Sorry.
No, it's good.
Maybe you should just leave, J Mike.
I'll go. My bad, man.
Yeah. Pete, you were saying.
I was just saying what I caught from that is J Mike hates people who likes Miles Sanders. Is that about?
And he likes to poop on people.
And likes to poop on people. And hey, man, I don't judge. You do you as long as it's consensual. I'm all about you living your best life.
Insert Insert Miles Sanders.
Insert Miles.
Michael Scott.
You got
it. Like I said, man, you do you. You insert whatever you need to insert. As long as it's consensual, you 2, 3, 4 group go for it. I don't mind.
Why
I don't know.
Are you the way
I don't
you
know.
Are?
Miles Sanders is talented. He averages what? Based on your deep research, I don't know how many top 36 weeks he had, but he averaged like 13 point.
The Heat.
I was referencing a colleague's work. I don't think that's fair. 13.4, 13.6 points per game or something in his rookie season. It wasn't terrible. The downside is probably Gio, who gets stuck in a committee despite being the more talented player. But that's still relevant. That's still a solid first-round pick for most rookie classes. So I wouldn't be disappointed in Sanders. And as he showed this season, like you said, when Howard was out, he does have that upside. I think generally we can't expect him to get 20 touches a week or whatever, like we thought the upside was. But the same logic still persists in the backfield right now. If there's a guy there who's going to take all the work, it's the guy who's already the talent receiver getting used there. And Boston Scott's a really solid player. We've seen him spike before in fantasy for the same reason. He gets undervalued by a league that doesn't value players without draft capital. He just does. But when given volume, he can do stuff with it. But he's less likely to take over the receiving work than Miles Sanders is to take over the rushing work, at least on some games. So for me, the same logic persists. If I'm looking for upside, which you always are, Miles Sanders is the guy. Boston Scott should have some value, but it's almost not enough to trade away. And it's not enough to hunt for in the late rounds because he doesn't have that upside of a Miles Sanders. I mean, it can happen, obviously. So I would not draft him. But he's just stuck in that difficult range right there. Where if you can find someone to pay for his upside, because it's there for Boston Scott's upside, then I'd do it. I'd rather trade him than keep him. But I doubt you're going to find anyone to trade, I don't know what's the upside of a running back who could take over that backfield, like a late first, and no one's giving anywhere near that for Boston Scott. So
why can't he be Austin Eckler, Pete?
Oh my God!
Because he's not the receiver, and Austin Eckler is awesome, and to follow on from J Mike's theme that he's discussed, Austin Eckler poops gold, right? So his poop is just worth more than Boston Scott's poop. I'm really not sure on this theme you've set for us here, J Mike. Could we get like poop a reframe or something?
Yeah.
The poop theme just isn't doing anything.
If you poop gold, you can poop on me. Is that what the?
It's more like,
what was the?
It's more like diamond encrusted platinum. That's what I think it is.
Poop whiskey. Poop hashtag whatever. No, for real.
Yes.
Yeah. I know Debro was highly intoxicated, but
it was the honey peanut butter and what was the other one? Oh yeah, cinnamon. So
yeah, but then you guys came up with the whole. It tastes like poop, whatever.
Skyline
chili. I was gonna make a joke about that earlier, but I couldn't remember what it was. Thank you.
Oh
a
boy!
fun- that was fun.
Right when I thought I had forgotten about Skyline.
It's coming back. It's gonna rear its ugly head.
If you eat some, it always comes back. That's how it works.
Yep. What goes around comes around and around
And around and around and around and around.
around and around.
Comes brown is what you meant. Okay.
Oh.
I get it.
Comes a brown.
Hey.
Comes a brown.
Um, Miles Sanders or Josh Jacobs, everyone.
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs.
Jacob still.
Yep.
Okay. That was posed.
Could you get a Jake just asked Jake, some guy who I believe was on this podcast or used to be, he just asked if you get an early 2021 for Sanders right now. I don't know. I think mid to late. I don't think you get an early one.
I feel like 106 or 107 ish area.
Yeah.
Even that.
Which means you're definitely not getting.
Might be able.
Valuable.
I bet you
I
can
think
get
you might
more.
be able to knock on the door of top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Cool.
There's like 80 players from the 2019 class that are in like the top 50. It's crazy.
They're going to be like the Browns, like the Browns that 1 year game where
Yeah.
everybody was.
The 2019 class. We'll never forget.
I mean, does it really matter? Like, I really want to know how many 2021 firsts I can get for Sanders. I'm done with 2020. Don't
I know.
care.
Yeah, but what about that 2023 class? I hear that one's pretty good. It's open season on Browns players, though, right? We're buying Browns players right now.
If I'm getting OBJ for the 101.
Sounds like it,
so.
yeah.
Okay, what are you guys doing with the?
Let's just say you're not allowed to trade 2020 picks, okay, at this point. This is not worth it. But like OBJ, not Johnny Manziel, the guy who's good. Baker Mayfield, Chubb, Hunt. These guys are probably all at value after 2019, right?
Probably not Chubb. I think Chubb's the only one that went up in value.
Oh.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Or stayed, but I'm sure that he didn't go down.
That's what she said.
Hey, ba-doom.
Hey.
She may have though. She may.
She may have.
We don't know.
I mean,
It
did
might
we
just,
ever?
it might
We don't
depend on
know.
if people think Kareem Hunt is going to stay there, right? And if Chubb went up or not, but
I can't stop.
but yeah, I think that's the only guy that you probably can't get a discount on. But
I know. Someone told me Hunt went before Stefan Diggs in his recent draft.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm not shocked by
people are
that though.
I'm not either.
No, I'm not. The upside is definitely there, right? If he leaves or
Yeah.
Chubb takes up ice skating and leaves or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the upside's definitely there.
And
He took
people
like
are-
literally
people
all
still
of the
sleep on
receiving
Jarvis,
work. Yeah, right. Jarvis has got to be higher than he
Right.
was last year. He was ridiculously low last year.
Yeah, but I feel
That's
like
true,
the
that might be
perceived
one,
value
yeah.
on Jarvis didn't really move at all, right? Like, I think that he's a guy that people still just like.
People just
He's
still won't
definitely
accept
gonna
that.
be left for dead, but just still produce top 36 numbers
Right.
for J Mike every year.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
With
16,
with
36,
running backs,
top 36
with running
weeks.
backs is top 24. My research for running backs is top 24, not 36.
Oh,
Sheesh.
awesome. That makes sense.
Golly.
No, for wide receivers, we're talking about Landry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about Kareem Hunt. Sorry.
How many top
that-
36 weeks did Landry have?
Let me check my research. real quick, man.
I'm asking genuinely.
Oh, Jarvis Landry tied with Odell Beckham Jr. 10 top 36
Yeah,
weeks.
That's what I mean. Like,
3 top 12, 3 in 13 to 24, and 4 25 to 36. Pinky's up.
so
Indeed.
if the 101 for OBJ is a 70%, then 101 for Jarvis is a 100%, right?
I'll be.
Yeah, sure. Let's just leave that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. Let's just leave that one
John
out
Bosch
there.
is somewhere angry right now.
That's
Have people screaming at their radios wherever they're listening. Yeah.
I'm sure one of the
yeah.
cheapest is going to be Njoku, though, right?
And that's what, yes,
That's
in case
Yeah,
what I
that's
wanted to know
Yeah.
because I'm a big tight end gal, and
hey,
that's what she said.
yeah.
All right. And I was wondering because I traded for him the other day, and I don't even know. I gave up like nothing to get him. So
Ninjoku dead, right? And no one even mentions it. So probably Tyler. Yeah. We were just- that never happened.
Isn't Landry's contract up this year or something?
Yeah, and he's getting
Yes,
paid
it is.
a
Yeah.
fuck ton of money too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he's probably not a Cleveland Brown.
You wait.
I don't know.
You saying Landry's not a Cleveland Brown this upcoming season or the one after?
In 2020, was his contract up, or is it 2021? I'm thinking of, or no, I'm not.
Look it up.
It's through 2022.
It's impossible to tell.
But
If only Eden
it's
Mosher could
not.
hear the podcast.
There is a potential out right
Transition.
here. In 2020, the cap hit isn't terrible, so there's a possibility of trade. I'd think, but yeah, I don't know. I think we've discussed this before of like, why not keep him on? I said like, why not just keep him on for cheap or whatever, because he's good. But I don't know. We'll see what happens to the Browns this year.
They should keep him.
Yeah,
We'll see how the Browns blow it this year.
right.
They did have an
Joke
incredibly
Gesicki.
bad schedule and
Gesicki.
performed well on it comparatively.
That sounds like a Peter question. I think he has an affinity for that man. That
It's on the screen.
Yeah, Peter.
It's on
Joke
the screen.
Gesicki.
Jake Anderson.
Jake
Right.
Anderson, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
Gesicki did really well in this second year. Second year is an important potential breakout year for a tight end like it is for a wide receiver, but they do have an extended life. I think if we bought cheaply Gesicki this offseason, which you could, his value was really down. I did. It mostly paid off. Like, he looked promising this year. He's still on the fucking Dolphins, which is a problem. But he did well in his second year. I expect to see more improvement in the third year. I really hope he does a lot more in the third year, though. It's like a crucial time for a tight end, even for a tight end, third and fourth year. He is young, though. I'd probably take Gesicki over Njoku at this point, but that's rough, man. Njoku missed most of this year. So I don't know. They're close, and it's because Gesicki rose more than Njoku fell for me. That's what I'd say.
And if there's a coach signing that McDaniels or Urban Meyer or something that makes people go gaga over the Browns again, is that enough for y'all, or are we holding on tight again and going to buy now in the hopes that there's a coach coming in? Is that the fix? Like,
I
what
fade
is it?
all coaching narratives, so
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But did it matter this year, or what was it this
No, I
year
don't
then?
think so. This
What was
year
it
they
then?
had a really bad schedule with a sophomore quarterback, which tends to be a tougher year for a quarterback anyway. And I don't think they did that badly on it with the schedule they had and some of the obstacles they had to overcome. OBJ was switching teams, and everyone then the mother mentioned that the first year on a new team's rough.
Yep.
And it was a little run. Jarvis Landry doing a lot better than we expected. Like J. Mike said, in top 36 weeks, they were equal. So I don't think OBJ's talent's gone anywhere. I think he's settling into a new team and should come back up with a slightly easier schedule next year. And it almost has to be based on the one they had in 2019. I think they're on an upswing. But then again, we said that before. So
I mean, all those teams that get overhyped like that end up like the Eagles that one year, overhyped, right? And then they didn't do anything. And I think that's what happened this year.
I think it's important to remember we always get it wrong. So you just do it opposite, right? Right. It was actually the Ravens this year, turns out. We meant to say the Ravens.
We meant to say it.
meant to say the Ravens.
Very, very close, They're right in that same area.
Basically the same team.
Basically. Could have been.
Have you actually found the coaching narrative to be untrue, Peter? Though, because I'm curious if there's statistics aligned.
I mean, there
to that.
are outliers. At this point, you just have to accept that Pete Carroll is imposing his will and is not going to let it up. Despite what the talent they have, despite where they're successful, despite what helps them win games, he's just going to keep enforcing his system. And coaches do like to enforce their system, and that comes out mostly at running back. Like you were saying about Doug Peterson and his committee there, I want to argue against it, but frankly, running backs' opportunity is more given. There's less of them on a field at any one time. It's harder to impose your skill to create opportunity opportunity for yourself at running back. That's just kind of how it is, especially where running is done too much in the NFL, so it struggles to become efficient. But mostly, yeah, based on every trend that's ever come up with this coach does this for his wide receiver one, or this coach heavily focuses tight end. It's all utter bullshit. Largely it's untrue. It's not something that I find a lot of value in betting on. But you know, everyone's probably shouting about Howard in Tampa Bay and Bruce Arians right now. But like, maybe some coaches affected, but they're outliers more than the general trend, you know. Well, like San Francisco, the same argument was used for the wide receiver one in San Francisco, and turns out none of them are Julio Jones, because none of them are Julio Jones, and that tends to be. Well,
there was a thing with Shanahan. There was a thing with Shanahan and running backs, though, you know, and we didn't. We were thinking it was McKinnon at the beginning of the year, and then things happened, and then
that's
Tevin
exactly
Coleman, and then it was Breida. Everyone and their mother, like you said, it was on Breida, and then all of a sudden it's Mostert is the RB1 for San Francisco this year, and whatever. Like
Raheem Mostert, undrafted free agents mattering. No, that's a really interesting point, Gabe. You could make a more complex argument like that. Like, if he's a good coach, what matters is that he's going to get the most out of his players. And if that's creating a committee, each one of them is going to become a little bit better in this committee. Rather than just this coach prefers a committee, it's if this is a good coach, he's going to use each player better than most coaches would. And I think that's a more sophisticated argument and a better way of looking at it, to be fair.
Right. To be fair.
So talking about the coaching changes and coaches and all that good stuff, since I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, two questions. One, what do you think is going to happen with Gallup going forward? And two, do you think Cobb sticks around because of the connection with McCarthy?
Oh, man, break my heart with Randall Cobb. Love that guy.
I love him too.
Casey, before I answer that, I just want to throw this out there. Kendrick Bourne last year was second on the team in receiving behind Kittle. This year, you'll never guess who led the 49ers in receiving touchdowns. That's Kendrick right. Bourne. Wide receiver one, Kendrick Bourne with 5. He and Kittle.
Undrafted free agents matter.
Pump up Peter like that.
Jesus.
Kendrick Bourne.
The man eats trefoils.
You can follow me at PA Howdy for all the right undrafted free agents.
No. Don't go down the Kendrick Bourne train. Let's stay in Dallas.
Go down. I'm already riding it.
Gallup versus Metcalf.
Metcalf.
I'm so fucking biased. I can't do this.
I don't have time for this. I got married. I'm moving. I got a puppy.
I mean, I'm just absolutely in love. Not with my wife, but with Gallup. Don't tell her.
Tran, you're an unbiased party here. What do you got?
Yeah, I think it's Metcalf, but I just I have a tough time having faith in Dallas receivers for some reason.
Their wide receiver too, I think, is the guy that like surprises you. Like when Beasley was here, he was the guy that surprised you, right? And
Beasley didn't surprise me.
I mean,
nothing surprises Peter. We found out.
Oh yes,
Terry McLaurin.
But Dallas didn't really have any wide receivers, right? So you had to be, I guess, anybody that.
Someone's got to get the ball, right?
I'll be honest.
But now, I mean, after they got Cooper and stuff, you know, then it was like Gallup was all like, I'm going to get 950 this season. And he went past 950. So now we get to get a pizza party in Dallas. So that's one good thing. You're laughing, but it's true.
Listen, I'm here for pizza parties. I'm here for
Dallas Radium is going to make it happen.
Yeah, I was worried about Gallup with McCooper being there, and it just didn't matter. That guy just didn't care.
I just don't know how healthy do you think Cooper? Do you think Cooper was 100% this whole season?
I don't think it was just health, though. That's the thing. When wide receiver ones are unhealthy, it doesn't mean like another 1,000-yard receiver pops up every time. It's because Gallup, like I was really high on him, and then when they got Cooper, I was a little lower on him because how do you get past that? Like being one of those teams that produces 2 top 24. It's a little rough. There's like what,
Yeah.
three on average a year or something. But he did it, and that means we've got to value the player. Now, I think Tran over there, Mr. Robot without emotions and always correct and accurate. It's probably true. DK's got the upside. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think he passed Lockett because I'm a really big fan of the way Lockett plays the game. But for Seattle, I could easily see them leaning more towards DK's type style, right? But like, I don't know. Is that? Can we just write that off as an unfair question? Is that a little like saying, would you trade a wide receiver 1 for a wide receiver 2?
That's exactly what I was about to say. You're going to get
mean,
Gallup for cheaper than you're going to get these other guys.
Yeah, I'd rather Gallup
number one guy on his team.
I'd rather Gallup's value right now. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
There you go. We fixed it. We fixed it for you. In case you got it sorted.
Way to change the
what you
question
want to
there.
do. You guys keep sitting there looking pretty. Me and Casey will just fix all this shit for you.
All right, good. I was hoping.
Well, he'll fix it, and I'll just say, yes, just I agree.
No, Casey.
Smart man.
That was usually 60% you. That's what we'll do. Me and you will just talk, and then we'll spend the rest of the pod thanking each other for doing such a great job, and then they can close it out. Because apparently,
and then I won't remember this tomorrow, but I'll be like, yes.
Yeah, she won't remember.
She won't remember, because remember the switch, right?
Yeah, I can smell it.
This is brought to you.
Oh boy.
It's happening.
It's happening.
Again, going back to my deep research here.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper with 11 top 36 weeks, Michael Gallup with 10. So I feel like that's pretty noteworthy that they had 2 wide receivers in double digits. And we had it even in the midst of probably us feeling like Amari Cooper did not give us what we wanted.
Right. And he's still
from a production standpoint. The good news is he did start all 16 games.
Yep.
And he still gave you 11 worthwhile weeks, you'd say. Maybe not what you expected, but at least worthwhile to some degree. So
I'm at a point with Cooper right now where I have to admit that, like, we were right to be high on him. He's a great player, but even when everything's in place, he doesn't have that upside we always envision. Like, he's easily 1,000 yards, great player. You want him on your team, but he doesn't quite have that upside. And that's proven true in 2 different teams now. Like, I'm still a really big fan of his, but he's just doesn't quite get there. You know what I mean?
For the price that you have to pay for him.
Right.
Although everybody's coming at me for him. Come on at me.
Do you think he stays in Dallas?
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah.
I think so too. Dallas has a lot of money. They're going to be able to pay both Dak and Cooper.
What's the mechanism of how that works out, though? Is it a case where he and Dak both get signed long term? Do one of them get franchised?
Someone's getting franchise tag. But it might not even be one of those 2 guys. It might be on the defensive side.
That's crazy. That's a lot of money in 4 players.
Yeah,
it's Dallas.
It's Dallas.
Right. I think
it's going on sleepovers at Jerry Jones's house. Like,
I feel like Dak is the one that gets franchised, but it's I think they're all there long term.
And poor Dak. So, like, on the radio today, they were talking about how, who was it, Michael Irvin or somebody was saying that if they were really confident in him, they would have already fucking thrown money at him, right?
They've got to want to lock up Dak, right?
I mean, you have to. A lot of people, including my dad the other day, everybody was like, your dad probably knows like 4 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, but that's like, Dak sucks. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And I don't think you're watching the same game I'm watching. I mean, he's not the worst quarterback in the NFL by far, and he's not the best, but he's up there in the top.
I think he's really good. I think he's the most valuable player on the team. Like very,
he's good.
very.
We could Quincy Carter this shit if you really want to, but
I think just in conversations with not people on Twitter, but just people in life, that Dak, for some reason, people just absolutely think he's really bad, and
it's because it became about Zach or Dak, right? That's why it was in the running backs matter more. Like, everyone wanted Zeke to be the difference maker, and frankly, you could trade Zeke away, and Dak still makes it a good squad, and no one wants to admit that. And I think that rolls over into some Dak hate. That's me.
It's not just you. It's people love cowbell running backs. They just absolutely
They
do,
do.
and
Cowbell.
It's wild.
Cowbell running back.
Cowbell, cowboy.
Gotta have them cowbell running backs. Just gotta.
I wonder if it's just because they're few and far between now, right? Like
Yeah, they are.
They're becoming less and less. So I
so-
wonder if that's why people think. I don't. I actually don't understand it. I don't understand it. But Dak is a good quarterback. I think he's going to be there long term. I think it's pretty easy to see that.
Just try to understand why, like, what's taking them so long to get to this point. Like, why is he not already signed?
Well, why did it take him so long to get rid of Garrett? Like,
I mean, there's that, but they were quick. They were quick to give Zeke the bag, though, right?
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
of all
yeah.
the things that they did fast, they gave Zeke money quick.
If there's a team in the NFL that really buys into the
Not that
idea
quick.
that teams that rush win, it's Dallas. Let's face
Right.
it.
Mhm.
So that's why. I mean,
it's
that's
always
what-
been like that. Like, I don't know.
I mean, they're wrong is the point. They're doing.
They're
it
wrong.
right.
No, they're wrong. They're wrong. I would never have thrown that much money at him, but
That was
It's
a
like
bad
the
move.
Patriots get Tom Brady in round 6, as you know. I think someone mentioned once happened, and then they're like, "Yeah, but we did pay a lot of money for our first round rookie Sonny Michel. We better give him the bag first." And that's Dallas right now.
Dallas is a shit show. But what are you gonna do? It's like watching a soap opera.
Love him or hate him.
Love them or hate 'em.
With that being said, one of the things that, and I'm having a hard time pulling up certain websites at the moment. I think that my computer's catching whatever disease Peter's giving off.
Oh,
But the
It's contagious, man. I probably should have mentioned that. You shouldn't have hooked that.
pooping on
Oh,
each other.
appreciate that.
You're welcome, my man.
One of the things you had asked about Randall Cobb too, Casey.
Yeah, Randall
who-
Cobb.
who had a pretty,
I mean, he
obviously
was
a
pretty
good year, just looking
solid.
at the numbers right, 80,
And he's young
83
enough.
targets,
I mean,
55 catches, only 3 touchdowns. But all that to say, if they're going to be signing all these guys, all of these Byron
Mhm.
Joneses, Dak, and everybody else, like,
yeah.
you know, somebody's like, I'd imagine they've either got to do some serious
Gotta be an
cap
odd man
gymnastics,
out.
or they send some people packing. So I'm curious how that works out too.
I mean, they were talking about on Dallas radio, and half of them were like, yeah, and half of them were like, nah. And it's hard. It's, I'd rather talk to you guys about this shit. People who aren't biased about this kind of shit.
I'm incredibly biased, but I think the Randall,
Well, you love him, and you have heart eye emojis, so.
I think the Randall Cobb dream might be dead. Like, I really hope to see a lot more out of him post Jordy and then post Patrick. He's going to fall into that group of players. He's good. He's better than most players you could find at the NFL level, but he is diminished from what he has been, and he does need volume, and he's not going to fall into a situation where he's going to get it. It's unfortunate, but he's still a good player. Solid player for the NFL, but like,
it happens.
probably not going to rise up in fantasy again much. He's just stuck on your roster.
Sucks.
He's pretty though. He looks damn
my
pretty
God.
on a roster.
He has, I was going to say, he has the most prettiest eyes I've ever seen
Like-
in my entire life.
I just meant him on the roster, but yeah, sure that. And like, it feels good when you're like wide receiver 6 is Randall Cobb. Like, that's not a bad feeling. It's like, all right,
No,
that's pretty
it's
cool.
not.
Right. As far as him on the Cowboys goes, like it feels like he's not really a guy that they're gonna pay a bunch of money to and give a bunch of targets to. He is what he is at this point.
Yes, when you can draft a guy and whatever.
Especially if they're gonna dish out, $150 million to 4 players on their team.
Jesus, I wish I played for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm probably a better fucking 18-yard punt. I could probably kick the fucking ball. Sorry, Chris Jones.
Punters aren't people.
I'm just saying though, I wouldn't mind a little bit of Cowboys money.
I'd take
Jera. Yeah.
it. Has DLF ran updated ADP post 2019? Jake just asked
I was
what
just looking that up.
ADP
I was
is
just looking that
6th.
up.
He's 6th.
I mean, you work there. Why don't you know this?
Yeah.
I just told you it's 6th. So 3.
No,
He's
are you going to tell us or what? What are you waiting for?
Listen.
Hey, J Mike, I think he's QB6.
6.
Hey, appreciate that. Thank you, Trent.
Yeah. I don't work for
Love it.
DLF, but I just have a hunch. You know, I got.
You have like an inside guy, right?
Apparently. Did
6 is
somebody boot Peter?
6 is
Peter,
actually higher than I
Peter,
thought it was.
come back, Peter.
All right, Peter, that's your last warning.
I'm gonna violate it again, just so you know. Dak Prescott is QB sixth right now.
I said that already.
One hand and
Peter,
then
I
one
said
finger.
that.
Right. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Nathan
man.
already told us that.
All right, my bad.
Dak was the number 4 player overall, which is kind of wild.
I'm
in terms of
telling you.
points this year. Number 4 overall, number 2 quarterback.
Well, okay, when you have a shitty special teams and you start off at the 2-yard line of your opponent, you have to throw the ball.
Man, running back gets ugly fast, right? Is that just
it's gross.
Just me? You've got like all these guys.
Like here and then like everybody
It goes
else.
Cook and then it goes Chubb with Hunt. Josh Jacobs is 7, and I honestly don't know I could argue with it. And like, wow, it gets
Maybe you shouldn't
real
even
bad.
draft a damn running back and just cross your fingers and kiss your ass.
Why
I think
draft
that-
any of them, frankly, Casey? Let's go.
Let's just go
play
with
fantasy ice hockey of them, and that sounds fun.
Throw a dart and hope.
Sports betting. That's what I'm telling you guys.
WNBA, bitch.
WNBA parlays.
Get
for
paid.
fantasy football.
Peter, I think what you're speaking to is again another one of those reasons for that thrill of hope with this class is the
DJ
fact that, like you
Chark
just
is wide
said,
receiver 18. Sorry,
18.
I'm 18. Ow, that's terrible.
Is there really new DLF ADP out?
From December, yeah. Apparently they got one out.
Oh, December. Got it.
Oh,
December.
doesn't sound
Guys,
updated.
this is January 2020.
It's already the 7th.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, get with the times, old man. I
Yeah.
know, but I'm still stuck in December. What
A
can I say?
new
I
decade.
didn't know we were retroactively assessing trade.
The
Nice.
snozberries taste like snozberries.
Speaking of which, Jarvis Landry is wide receiver 32, which seems like a crime at this point.
That is a crime.
Yep, that's where
Everybody
he'll be
hates
too
Buffett.
for the next 4 years.
Doesn't matter how many wide receiver 1 seasons he has. He's locked in.
Yep.
You can get him
That's
for
your
a late
ADP.
second.
Deal with it.
Like a contract for DLF.
How does Antonio Brown have ADP right now?
Yeah, right?
How is it higher than Jarvis Landry? Still, it's crazy.
Can I tell you, I was in a
Hey man, it's
redraft
not a million
league.
miles away. How does Paris Campbell still have ADP? What up, Zach?
No. I was on a redraft
Zach-
league.
Zach gonna get
Girl
you.
Never set her lineup. Antonio Brown was in her fucking lineup every week.
Oh my gosh.
Granted,
I don't keep
she
that
did not
nonsense.
win.
I don't know if you guys will believe
she
me.
did not. She did not have Lamar and CMC.
Right.
No. That would be our friend Amy.
I don't know if you guys will believe me, but I'm in a league where I drafted Harry,
Okay.
Paris Campbell, and J-Jaw. All of them. I really nailed that one. Oh, I feel really great about myself right
Gut
now.
feels, man. Gut feels.
Yeah, exactly.
I am sitting on
Casey
I'm
just
sitting on a pile of JJ Sega Whiteside shares. I'm like that guy who buys the penny stock.
Right.
If this goes up, I'm rich. And I actually just bankrupted my family.
I was like,
no, you're just sitting on
I'm
a
like
penny
Will
while you're
Smith.
doing it.
Christian
in
Michael.
Pursuit of Happiness before the good part, like where he just buys all those medical devices. Like I'm sitting there. These are so good. They're gonna be worth so much money. Oh
Right.
God.
People ask me why I keep quitting Dynasty leagues. It's pretty obvious there.
I just don't draft the right players.
It looks good on paper for 3 minutes.
Actually, I think if you go in any of my dynasty leagues right now, I don't have any draft picks. I'm just like, nope, I don't know how to use those. Apparently, I'm just gonna keep trading for guys I know.
Nah, I'm good. Got any Jarvis Landry you could sell me? I mean,
I do.
Oh man.
You got any Jarvis?
Jarvis Landry.
I'm hooked on that Jarvis Landry stuff. You know, it's good stuff. You should,
Might have to go to rehab soon.
For real though, that was me with Brandon Cooks. I feel like him and Jarvis were just guys that everybody hated, and then Brandon Cooks kind of rough one, I think, this year.
yeah, that was a rough.
He caught a touchdown in like week 16 or something, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't count it.
Hey, if he can
Hey,
get one,
I'm not
he can
counting
get
it
all
End
of
of
them.
the season. So the start of next season, it's money.
Hey, the Rams. Remember when they were good? Good times. Good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Rams,
Oh,
great
yeah.
segue, Peter. Gabe, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter.
Fucking-
As I was,
I love you.
I don't know if you saw this on Twitter when we were talking about this, Gabe, but essentially I had reached out to the Twitter world to be able to figure out their thoughts on essentially facts regarding one Cooper Kupp and Damian Williams, your favorite players. So I just wanted to be able to kind of bless you with the wonderful things that people said regarding Cooper Kupp and others.
Okay.
Sal Stefanile, and I probably messed up his name, from two QB's fame. He weighed in here. He says Cooper Kupp was the best man at Damian Williams' wedding. Damian named his firstborn son Cooper, and they both played Battletoads and Double Dragon together on Sega Genesis to unwind during the off season.
Interesting fun fact.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
I do that.
Keeping it going here. Bobby Koch, what up, Bobby?
Bobby.
I once tweeted a Cooper Kupp fact that his grandma liked and retweeted during his rookie season.
That's a lie. Grandmas don't have Twitter.
Nana Cup, wherever you are.
I mean, all mine are dead.
That Grandma Cup's probably about like 60 though. I think she could have Twitter.
Yeah, she might be into winning. The big homie Berg, Emmy award-winning director, producer, at Carl Jr. on Twitter. Cooper Kupp's name spelled backwards is Pupuk Repook.
That is
Oh man,
Academy award-winning.
that sounds like a Swedish punk band.
Check out United Shades on CNN. That's where he does the best work. Berg, I love Berg. He's good people. Another one from Berg. Cooper Kupp once cheated on Damian Williams with the hot girl at the copy place, but Cooper denies any wrongdoing, claiming they were on a break, but it was like 5 hours after the break started, so not a great look.
Yeah.
Sounds,
Did he read the letter?
It's pretty sketch. Pretty sketch there.
Friends.
That's all I've got, Gabe, from that. I think that's all I got from that thread.
Okay.
James,
Would you like a reaction from me, or are you just stating these things?
No, I mean, as we're putting 2019 to bed, since we didn't have a proper burial, if you will, for the podcast in 2019. I just wanted you to, this is 2020 vision we've been talking about, and I want to make sure
foresight
that your vision is set on, your new loves, your new flames. You buried Cortland Sutton, you picked up Cooper Kupp, Hollywood Mecole Hardman. And
that might be the only one I could like half apologize for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Beer goggles.
This is the time. Go for it.
I don't know what yet, because I do think it was a weird, like, lot of boom plays, and I'm not ready to trust that yet. But it's what I expected out of Mecole Hardman, but I was more impressed than my expectation. Whatever. Cortland Sutton over Cooper Kupp. Okay. That is, we did it in our Vampire League, J Mike.
We did.
And
You're right.
and
We did.
we were laughed at, we were ridiculed, pointing the finger and just literally poking our incisors. They were just poking them. And,
hey.
not to say that we're like, yeah, we won, but I mean, I think that it's closer than people think, and I'm sure Sutton's ahead of him in ADP. What's your December 2019 ADP say, fellas? Huh?
I'm not falling for this again.
Peter, let me know so I can tell him.
Sutton is wide receiver 14 and Kupp is wide receiver 16.
Hey, Gabe, just a quick
damn
heads
right.
up. Checking the DLF's ADP here. Looks like Cortland Sutton is 14 in December 2019. Cooper Kupp is 16 December 2019. So hey, look at us.
Son.
Look at us.
Can I humble brag and say that I met Cortland Sutton? Again, this is probably like the third time I've told this story on this podcast.
Tell it again.
He's such a nice guy.
You'll forget about it anyway.
Yes, I'll have to go rewatch and then turn it off after 5 minutes. He's such a nice guy, and he complimented my phone case. And I told him he was on my Dynasty League, and he said he wouldn't let me down. So that was a fun story that nobody gives a shit about.
And what did Cooper Kupp tell you? Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't fucking meet Cooper Kupp.
So pull him down the
probably
rankings.
is.
He probably wouldn't even like my phone case.
Cooper Kupp.
Asshole. Nah.
Cooper.
Trooper.
Cup.
So yeah,
This is going off the rails. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Where am I right now?
You knew. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Peter.
2021 picks.
Jason,
What does it take?
Gabe, J Mike, they all know what's happening. Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. We're shutting it down here.
I feel like I should be on this podcast one time with Debro and Russ, because the last episode they were so fucked up that it would just be pure chaos.
We can make that happen, Case. You know that.
I don't even remember who the other guest was, because those two were so.
Wow, that's disrespectful.
I think that was the Justin week. That was the Justin.
I do know who the other guy was. Come on now. I was being more disrespectful to Russ.
Because Pete kept going in and out, right? I think it was.
Yeah,
Debro,
he was having
Pete,
problems with his mic.
Yeah. JP. Quick shout out to Miko Hardman. 26 catches on the year, 6 touchdowns. That's all I'll say about that. Happy for him. Just happy for him.
I am too.
One last.
Adam Thielen is wide receiver
Anderson.
20. That's just.
Jake Anderson hits us here. One last thing. He said, "Can you guys do a draft for good old times?"
Okay. Hey, I got one.
2019 was definitely the year of the draft. Let's get out of here on a draft, Gabe.
I got it. I don't know where it came from, but I got it. Best way to eat a potato.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
Who wants the 101? I'll let you guys choose in my giving spirit.
I wasn't ready for this, so I don't want to.
I'll go first. Great. I'll go first. 101 in ways to eat a potato. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or prepare.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it. Yeah.
I am going loaded baked potato soup.
Whoa, soup!
Wow.
You put soup on it?
He's gonna have his mom
Loaded
come
baked
out like
potato
those
soup.
Campbell's commercials.
That
basically
sounds like
potato
something from
soup.
Skyline. Is that a Skyline thing?
No, bro,
I didn't
don't
see
do
that
that
on there.
Put that on spaghetti.
You so disrespectful, man. You so disrespectful. 101 loaded baked potato soup. It's got potatoes. My wife does a great job with it. Potatoes chopped up. It's super. It's a lot like. Have you guys ever had O'Charlie's? Ever been to O'Charlie's?
I don't know what
Okay,
O'Charlie's.
it's a chain restaurant.
Okay.
But anyway, they have amazing rolls. But it's just like I don't know, in the same vein of like an not the same type of food, but like same vein of like Olive Garden, those type of places,
Okay.
right? So it's an American grill per se, if you will, Applebee's ish.
Okay.
But anyway, they do a soup, super cheesy, super good. It's got bacon bits in it, or like chunks of bacon in it, and it's just absolutely fantastic. But anyway, my wife makes a really good one as well. It's got all sorts of good stuff in it. So loaded baked potato soup, my 101. Please and thank you.
So is the baked potato still on the board? I'm confused.
Yes.
No,
Yeah, I was
I'm sorry.
wondering
Yes,
that.
it is on the board. It is on the board. Yes.
Okay. That's not my pick. I'm just wondering for the other nerds that have it on their mind.
Potato nerds.
Nerds. Who's got the 102?
Peter does. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the baked potato off the board because that's the better way to eat a baked potato. Turning it into a soup, such a Julio.
I was
hater move.
I was taken
And
aback.
I'm
Be careful.
taking the baked potato, a little cheese on there. This is the best way to eat a potato, and everyone else is wrong. So
Yep. Chives. Jake's mentioning the chives. That's
yeah,
essential.
throw whatever you want on there, man. But you
True.
bake
Loaded.
you bake it and you eat it like a human being. You don't mush it up into a soup.
Yeah.
Like
You
some
eat the
kind of hater.
potato.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top 36.
I think he's gone. Me on mute again.
How
Yeah.
many weeks in the top 36 are baked potatoes?
Yeah. How about
All
soup
of them. All of the
soup
weeks.
versus
My research says 16. I don't.
Yeah,
know.
all
Okay.
16 weeks.
Yeah.
But
I
you
don't know how good that
went
is.
to week 17 though, right? So what's going on there?
There's only 16 games, Peter. Good grief. Do you even know this game? You even research, bro?
I yeah, no.
I mean, yes, I got it.
I mean, yeah, football, right? Been playing it since I was a kid. You put the ball on the ground, you kick it around. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yep.
Do you even Excel sheet, bro? Huh? Do you
Ooh.
even sort columns, bro?
He might have you
Did
on
you even
that.
correlate those variants, man?
Yep.
Did you even look at your error range? I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. Let's deviate. Casey,
Yo,
you are the 103. How would you like your potato, ma'am?
vodka.
Oh, fuck. Nice. That's smoke show right there. That's I did not see that one. Wow, impressive work. Okay, win is that? But it only counts if that vodka is potato vodka.
No, it's not. It's
Is
Western
it wheat?
style.
Is it corn?
I don't know. It just tells me I can't drink it if I'm pregnant. I'm just
Okay.
fat. I'm not pregnant. So, I mean, I
Hey.
have a second choice if vodka doesn't count.
I say yes.
I like
I'm okay.
it.
I think it's creative.
Okay, thank you. I do my best work when
All right.
I've been drinking.
Indeed. Jason, 104, and I'm gonna bring it up the rear.
Man, I feel like I'm getting a steal here, but I'm just taking mashed potatoes. How could you go wrong with mashed potatoes? It makes no
Yeah.
sense.
With gravy, without
Gravy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely a gravy guy.
Okay.
Brown or white?
Brown.
Okay, all right.
Okay. I see the full circle with the poop thing. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're welcome. I'm putting it
Diet
in the
A.
sheet right now.
Yep.
Always putting us back on the rails. Always.
All right, Gabe, 105, and the final pick of this potato draft of
That's
2020.
true. I'm for one impressed with everyone's picks, and I don't think I necessarily have a better pick than you. I'm feeling a little bit humble tonight, and that's not to say anything about pie. Just feeling that. So let's go with you know what's just like super tough to make on your own, but can just be somehow perfected by diners and breakfast spots all around is hash browns.
Mm.
Hash
Yes,
browns.
that's good.
Yeah.
Even McDonald's has some good hash browns.
And just like the, for the lack of a better term, Pete, the variance with hash browns, you can make, literally hash and have some fun things in there. There's a place in Austin here that does these waffle iron hash browns, and they put a, shredded potato, whatever you would call that, into a waffle iron and egg and
Oh my god.
gravy, and it's like a coffee gravy too, coffee infused gravy or something. So you're like caffeinated after you eat it, and it's delicious.
Gotta come to Austin.
Hash browns.
Gotta come to Austin.
There's man, potatoes, man. That's a good. It's good food. It's good food.
Shout out to
No
tater
one
tots,
took
though.
the fry.
I know tater tots and fries. I know.
Oh, gratin
like
potatoes, dude.
wedges.
Olive gratin with all the
you know?
cheese.
Even just the breakfast potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, potatoes are underrated.
Twice
I think.
baked.
I think they are scalloped.
Scalloped. Tater tots. We said tater tots. It's like hash browns, right? Baby
Right.
hash browns.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Acceptable hash browns to eat during lunchtime.
Exactly.
So does that suffice there, J Mike? Was that good?
Jake was the one that asked for it. I think he was. He seemed to be pleased with the answers that we gave out. So I think that does it.
I think that literally was for Jake at this point. We're closing in on
Yeah.
the
I think he
curly
took
fries. Never
106
said curly
with
fries.
curly fries here. Yeah.
Our Arby's curly fries. Mwah.
Oh yeah, that's where it's at right there.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice call. All right, Gabe, shut her down. Let's get her.
All right, man.
Get her done responsibly in 2020.
Okay. All right. I can do that, but I do have one more question.
Nope. Nope.
I love questions. I feel like
I'm here for it.
it's
Let's hear
another
it.
interview.
Let's go.
I know his tricks. I know his tricks. He's trying to stretch us out to get to the 2-hour mark.
Got you in that Chinese finger trap.
When do people stop listening?
All right.
Right about now, Jake's
sure.
going to bed.
Everybody's saying.
Yeah, EP's gone. We gotta go to bed. Let's go in the same order that we introduced everyone. So say something about yourself. Say something about your significant other. Say something about J Mike or myself. Just say something around the horn here, around the circle. Jason, we'll begin with you, my friend.
Yeah, I'll go first. Thank you guys once again for having me on the first episode of 2020. It's been fun to start the decade off this way. I'm on Twitter at Jason Tran. I made a joke before, but I'm really pushing for 1,500 followers right now. So, if you can help me out there, that'd be perfect. But that's it. I'm ready for the playoffs to get going or to finish up here. And since the Patriots lost, I have no more rooting interest. I just hope the Packers don't win. And that's it. Thanks for having me on.
Jason Tran is at 1,455 followers on Twitter. He is at Jason Tran. He is #doing things at what is it? Friday Night Lines, right?
Yeah, Friday Night Lines.
Friday Night Lines.
My betting podcast, which is going great.
All right. WNBA, baby. Give me that parlay. Let's go. What is the season? I'm so ignorant. Is the season started for WNBA?
No.
I don't really bet WNBA. I don't have
No.
idea.
I thought that was genuine.
We just let it
You
keep
could
going.
just smoke the WNBA. Just
I
got that in the
Have
bag.
your mom help you out.
I have played some WNBA on DraftKings. I think that's where that came from. But
Yeah. Okay.
that's because I'm a degenerate gambler. So
Yeah.
We laughed about that a while back. Yeah. It just kind of continues on a legacy.
well, why
Just
why
like
wouldn't
extra
you?
words.
Why wouldn't you bet on WNBA? Right?
Why
There
not?
you
You
go.
want money. And anytime you can win money, I mean,
Got to do it.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Make rookie picks at the end of the first round? Feel more comfortable in that? Confident in that? Come on.
Yeah. I
It's
don't have any
WNBA.
picks.
All right. I don't got any picks. I traded him for DK Metcalf. Casey, you are up next, milady.
my sir. All right. Casey Kasem right here. I write for Fighting Chance Fantasy. My Twitter handle is at the KACEYKASEM. Oh, guys, Ryan with Fighting Chance Fantasy wanted me to say hello. Shout out.
What up, Ryan?
What up, Ryan?
All right.
All right. And also the Scott Fishbowl winner. He's from our site. Anyway,
Hey,
He's
Just
from my
wanna say-
city.
I know he's from your city. What up?
I got to connect with him.
Yeah, he's
Shout out
cool.
to Gary.
Gary. All right. Also, I feel like there was more stuff. Oh, I met Gabe last year, so that was a highlight.
Facts.
And we kind of chilled in my town. there's not much more to say about me except for I'm pretty fucking dope. And if you're not following me, I'm trying to get to 3 million followers by the end of the year. So
Nice. I like
I really don't know how many people follow me right now. But hit me up, say hi, let's talk. So
I'll be coming back, or you'll be coming here.
I'll be coming there because Austin's a lot cooler than where I live. So
I'm only saying that because of Austin, not compared to where you live specifically, just where anyone lives.
Yeah, yeah, Austin. So
I need to come back for Tups though.
oh yes, Tups.
I'm
It's
upset
pretty
that I
dope.
didn't go there. That's one of my favorite breweries. So.
Yeah, it's like it was right down the street from my old house. Like we could bike our asses down there. It's really tight. So yeah. And by the way, any of the homies that are going to be out there in Ohio for the what is it?
Midwest Fantasy
Midwest,
Expo?
North, Southwest, East. I'm going to be there this year. So
hey, that's what's up.
Let's get drunk.
Turn up.
All right, Pete, McMeister, Pete Skins, eating baked potatoes all up in your house. Peter, what it do?
Hey, Gabe, what's up?
Hey, man.
Yeah, bring him on after Casey is just, that makes sense. That's what you would do to me. I'm nowhere near as fun as Casey, and you should definitely all go follow at Jason Tran. That's definitely a goal you should set yourself for the 2020 year. Solid one. Really recommend that move. What do you want from me, man? I'm now a senior writer for Dynasty League Football. Apparently, I got a promotion of some sort.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Confirmed non-owner of DK Metcalf or N'Keal Harry in the leagues I share with J Mike because he literally won't trade them to me. I'm currently working on my market share database to help us all evaluate rookies for the 2020 class, and it'll be out just as soon as my computer stops cursing at me. So, probably by 2021. But I'll have that out as soon as I can. I have a podcast, Dynasty Crossroads, at Dynasty Crossroads on Twitter. But you don't want to follow that no more because it's just me talking mostly at this point, so everyone keeps bailing on me. But it's out there. It's in the universe. Thanks for having me on, guys. I always enjoy being on the open bar and getting to see you guys. Congratulations on Gabe on being a father and not mentioning that every possible opportunity. That's very cool. And thanks again.
I appreciate that, Peter. Thank you, my man.
That's great.
He's right. The studio, the whatever I'm in is turning into a nursery of sorts. So the change is happening.
Cheers, bro.
Indeed. But thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. J Mike, I also appreciate you. What do you have to say?
Man, I don't have much. I'm just grateful to continue to be able to do this, Gabe. We are, I don't know, man. This is just special, obviously. So I'm thankful to do it. Thank you to our guests, Peter, Casey, Jason. Just grateful for you all and the fun we get to have with you all anytime you're on, and just in general. So thank you all for being awesome people. We appreciate you. To everybody that rocked with us in the chat this evening, thank you all as well for coming back to the bar after a nice little Thanksgiving break that stretched through a couple holidays and even into a new year. So thank you guys for continuing to rock with us. Whether you're checking us out live or in podcast form, we appreciate you. We're everywhere podcasts can be found. Yes, even on Spotify. If you do want to rate it and review us on Apple Podcasts, we wouldn't be mad at that. And if you don't want to rate and review us, that's cool too. Just share us with a friend or put us on while you're on your treadmill, getting your workouts in, whether you're just grinding away at work so that we can help you laugh and get through it with some fantasy, some fun, and everything else. So that's really all I've got, Gabe. I'm on Twitter at JMikeCheck, JMICCheck. And the show's handle is at the Open Bar FP. Psych. I mess it up every time. It's at the Open Bar Pod. At the Open Bar Pod. No longer that. At the Open Bar Pod. And Gabe, you're on Twitter at FFManBun. So if you look him up by Gabe Gearing, you're not going to find him. It's under G2, and it's just going to be G2 apparently forever. G squared if you're nasty. Mr. Gearing, if you're real nasty. Gabe, take us home.
Am I supposed to? Do people want me to change my name? I've no issue with that. I just jumped on Twitter one day. I was like, I wonder if I could put an exponent in my name, and then I couldn't. And then I was like furious about it, so I went to Google and just like tried like copy and pasted an exponent into my name so I could have it. So I was just really adamant about it, and then I just kind of left it because a little prideful about it. I don't know.
It's just randomly when I go to type in your name, like your actual name,
right?
Like via text message, you're in my phone as like your actual name,
right. Okay.
And, my kids, after your time here in Cincinnati this year, my kids call you Uncle Gabe.
Yeah.
They often ask about you, and it's always Gabe, right? It's Gabe.
Yeah. It's not
so when I go to Twitter and type in Gabe, nothing comes up.
Okay.
And so then I have to remember, let me recalibrate. It's G2. I can't just type in his name. That's
gotcha. All right. And we can't, and as far as marketing, I'm doing horribly, for the brand. Great. Doing horribly for the brand because they can't type exponents. I really tried to do it, and I had to go and copy and paste. So I don't think people are going to be that ready for me. But I feel like they know the bun, man. The man bun.
They know what's up.
They know the bun, bro.
The bun.
Come on.
Bun B right there. Bun G.
To be fair,
Bun G.
To be fair, I actually did try and look you up earlier, and if you just type G2, it works. It pops up your first.
Every time.
Oh, really? Just okay.
G2.
Now I know.
Well, that's fun.
I don't remember what I was stalking your page or something, but
yeah, right. So, we'll have to talk about that when we discuss the show sheet. No, well, okay, J Mike, you twist my arm, I'll assist with the charm. This was great, man. It feels so good to be back. I've been talking to J Mike about it off mic with J Mike, so really on mic, I guess, of sorts. And man, I'm sorry, just from the bottom of my heart, that we couldn't be here for your eyes and your ears through some of those Tuesdays in November and December. But look, I said it. I said it to Pete. We haven't missed one in 2020, and we don't plan on missing any in 2020. Okay,
let's get it.
We're in it, man. It's the open bar.
Even if it's kids born on a freaking Tuesday.
I don't care. No, I don't care. I might care.
Yeah, you should care.
I care a little bit. So I don't know. Did you mention the store, J Mike? Did you mention are you doing the dummy blitz in the off season? I know you're kind of doing some things. What's good?
I need to do the dummy blitz in the off season. I don't know when that's going to start back up, but at some point, yes.
All right.
Yes, dummy blitz. Holla at us. DFPN at work. All the homies over there, the Dynasty Dummies, Funhouse folks, the Dummy Scouting Brief, Joe, Trader Joe, who kills it with the graphics. If you're watching now on YouTube, you see Peter's Dummy Blitz T-shirt as he supports the home team there, and yeah, so a lot of good stuff going on. Grateful to be part of it, and grateful for this new year to really dive in and do some new things and fun things for the people, for the people.
Good. Look for things. Look for everyone's things. I'll a couple intros here and there from me. I need to update the old SoundCloud page and post that for the people.
Rap Battle 2020.
Rap Battle. Casey and I still have that on the docket. So whenever she comes to Austin or I get up and see her, that's happening. So we coming. And we'll be coming next Tuesday and following Tuesdays. I believe we have a show next week. We're so ready, man.
Ready.
Try and catch us. Hey, you behind us. Good luck. Howdy, PA. Huh? All right. Next week, let's do that next week. This is me. This is Gabe. These are my friends. And Casey went potty, but let's toast to that right there.
Hey, look at us.
Hey,
Look at us.
Hey, I didn't expect it. I didn't see this coming. Nope, not one bit. Did you? Not me. Nope.